whatever. Does that help? Was that helpful? Yes, no.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I'm put in here minus 19. And you should always look for questions like these. It will come. You have to. This is part of algebra. Even when we get the answer, when we solve an equation, when we solve for x and get x, we should always plug x back in and check. We should always check our answer. This is something we should always be doing. Every problem you do, you're supposed to check your answers. Okay. Um, I'm just reading through to see some of the questions. Okay, yeah. Stop putting in the chat the questions from the exam for the students who haven't done it as yet. Again, if it makes it wrong and you know it's right, you know I made the correction. I couldn't put all the different, I can't pre-think unless it's multiple choice. Sometimes you're gonna enter yours different than mine's. Oh, okay, excellent. If it's private, I'm sorry. I didn't look if it was a private chat. All right, thank you.
Are we able to go over it this week after Wednesday?
Yes, we're gonna go over it. Well, after Wednesday. When is it due? Wednesday? So that means I have to get
Wednesday.
on. I don't know when. Maybe because I got to get online for that. Okay, maybe. Uh, what I do on Wednesday? Yeah, I could. I'll have some time Wednesday. Maybe it's 7 o'clock Wednesday. Something like
I still need the code.
the code for the class, and I'm gonna tell you to email Miss Loach or Miss Taylor. I don't give out the code. The admin staff does.
All
That's the
right.
procedure. Thank you.
I'm trying to figure out why some people got it and some people didn't.
That I don't know. I thought everyone got it. So you got to
And
check why you
I've
got on
been
the
emailing
email
them since I downloaded the quiz on Friday.
and they haven't given you.
No,
I'll make a talk, but I don't want to. I'm gonna probably text Marie or text somebody and see, but I don't want to go ahead. They have strict ways how they do things, and I don't want to just jump. You know what I mean? Go around whatever procedures and format they have. It's for whatever reason I sometimes don't see because we don't really know what happens and why people do what they do, but it has to be a reason.
I get it.
All right, so let's clear this. And this one is they want you to plot a point on the graph. I know we went through this lesson kind of quick. They want you to graph this line. You could put it in a calculator. So the best way to graph line when they back in the day, they say test some value, test some points. If I say graph this, if so I'm gonna let's look at the x values. I look at my graph line first. Since I got graph line from -9 to +9, I'm gonna just pick some random points. I'm picking these random points. So I want to graph x. X is what I'm picking. I'm gonna pick my x to be -5.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to bring a.
I'm gonna pick 0, and I'm gonna pick +5. That's my x. -5, 0, positive. So I want to know what's y. When I pick x, what's y? Because y is based on this function. Here you go, y is equal to x. This is easy because if y, whatever y is, that's what x is. Y is also -5. Y is also 0, and y is also 5 because x is y. We're going right off the expression. Whatever the expression is, we would have inputted on the right side. Now,
So, I'm sorry, Mr. Ferguson. I don't mean to cut you off. So ultimately it's just mirroring one another. Is that what it's doing?
mirror each other. Not all of them. The graph will be differ based on the expression after. Based on this equation, yes. This one mirror each other because it's the graph y equal to x. So every value that x is, y is. This is different. This just happened to be this line. We'll find another one, hopefully.
Okay.
So if we had to plot the points,
Mr. Ferguson, you muted yourself.
I'm sorry. Whenever we have graph, you can always plot points. So let's test. How do we plot the points here? Uh,
So,
okay. How do I get rid of that? Okay, I can move it. So I'm gonna put it right here. This is a point 1, 1. I know the graph. I didn't put the points, but I would have put 5, 5. I would have put 0, 0, and I would have put -5. But whenever we draw on a line, all we need is 2 points. Once you hit the 2 points, you're gonna get it. What just happened? All right, how do I delete the second line?
Yeah, undo.
Undo?
you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, so
Right
reset.
here,
I
undo,
hit
undo,
reset.
undo, right here, undo, up top. Yeah, all right. This should be the line I'm telling you. Look at it. I know this function. They call it a parent function. So some function we know. This is the basic linear function. The basic linear function, every x and y is the same. You see how it goes? It's a 1-to-1. All right, so let's check this answer. And it's wrong. Why is it wrong? What they want us to do. Graph by plotting points. I really don't know. So it like these points for some reason. I don't know. This question is weird for me.
Aaliyah, can you mute yourself, please? I'm sorry.
You can check answer 2 more time. Hold on.
Except for poison.
I think it only
Aaliyah, can you mute
points.
yourself, Aaliyah?
Huh?
It's true. Okay, right here.
It's a plot by doing
You guys
points,
look-
right? Undo,
They
undo.
did. They did a good job when you leaned.
I'll text her.
Okay, we learned. You see, I did that. This sounds enough for you.
Aaliyah, can you mute yourself, please?
You gotta mute. Gotta
Do you
mute.
see how when you were going, not only did I do what you
Jenny,
asked
I'll
me to
text
do,
her so you don't have to keep
I did a
screaming.
little
Mr.
extra and I
Ferguson, can
cleaned the
you
dirty
Can you
dishes.
kick her off at this
Oh,
point?
bravo. I just thought, because my mom was buying. Bravo.
I can mute her. It's just I had to find her in the chat. So
Thank you.
she's not paying attention. It's all right. That's why she's not hearing you. Okay. So back to, was I sharing my screen again?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on. This says plot by points. I thought I did it right, but it's for some reason saying it's wrong. For every X and Y, I don't know which points they want.
Check it again. I think it only wants 2 points. See?
Okay, thank you. All right. Whatever. That's why I don't like computers. All the points was correct, but whatever. All right, let's go. Next. So they want 2 points, but remember again, when we graphing, it's only 2 points you need. Find the equation that passed through this line. This is something you need to know. It's one of these questions. So when I say, what's the equation? What's the linear equation? What the equation supposed to be like? Who knows?
Isn't it in that y equals mx plus b form?
Yes.
Hmm.
That's it. That it is. I don't know. I can get this to size is too up. Okay, so back to y equal to mx plus b. This is the standard or the basic line. Whenever they talk about line, this is it. Because this way I can visualize the line. I can tell how high it is because I look at the y-intercept. I can tell how steep it is because I look at the slope. This is the only thing I need. Remember that equation we just looked at? Y equal to x. This is a linear equation. We know equations are straight line if they for the first power. Y to the 1 is y, x to the 1 is 1, x. These are linear always. These are only straight line function. That's why they have the word linear. Only straight line function. Everything else is a curve. Everything else, every other function is a curve. This is the only one that's straight. The fact that it's straight, all I need is 2 points to graph it. All I need is 2 points and I connect the points. So that's a good thing about drawing a straight line. All right. This part, they want you to find the equation of the line. You have to remember this. Y equal to mx plus b. And you need 2 information. You need the slope, because x and y is always there. X and y is there forever. X and y is there for infinity. These are 2 points, but there's infinite x and y on the line. There's infinite points on the line. So we just need 1 pair to test something. So look at, so the first thing I'm gonna do is find, what do we need here? What do you think we need? You need the slope.
No,
Thank you. You need the slope. How do we find the slope? The slope is
Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
the rise, yep, over the run. The rise over the run. And you said we find the rise by taking the longest distance and taking away the shortest distance. That's how we're gonna find the height. And at the bottom, we get the width by taking away the longest distance and the shortest distance from the longest distance. All right, so here I'm gonna say label these points. This is my x1. So the first thing you do whenever you're doing all these problems is to write the formula. See, I just wrote it down. I want you to write it down because you put it in your memory. X1, this is Y1. X2, Y2. That's it. Now we plug it into our formula. Minus 4. Minus is the formula. Minus, and look at this. X1 is also a minus. So don't put minus 4 here and think you got it. It's minus 4. It's minus 4. Minus 4, minus 4. Look at that. The y values are the same. I know what's happening right away if you don't. 3 minus 2. All right, so on top, look at this. This looks like minus 4 plus 4. Minus 4 plus 4 is a what? Minus 4 plus 4 is? Zero.
0.
0 over 5. 0 over 5 is what? How much time do I get?
it's 0.
0. It's 0. This is 0. So what this is telling me, the slope is 0. M in this equation, M is 0. So we got to find what B is. If M is 0, what is B? Let's plug stuff up. We're going to plug things in. I could use any of the pair. Let's use this one. I could use any of the pair. I just need a pair of X and Y. I can use any of the points because the parameter is the same for all X and Y's. So let's use Y. I'm rewriting this formula. Y equal to MX plus B. I'll always go back to the formula. You get to reinforce it in your brain. I'm going to use Y to be negative 4 from here. Y is minus 4. Minus 4 is equal to, the slope is 0. 0 times what? 0 times negative 2. Zero times negative 2 plus B. Look at that. 0 times any number is what? What's negative 2 times 0?
0.
0.
0. 0. Thank you. Any number times 0 is 0. If we got a half a 0, a half a 0 is still 0. A million zeros, still 0. So this look like B is equal to what?
-4.
-4. Ah, look at this. So we come back to our equation. Now they say, what is the equation of this line? This line look like y is equal to my m is 0. So when my m is 0, x is gone. When m is 0, x disappear. So it looks like it just be b. It's just gonna be b. Y equal to -4. Y equals to -4. Something real quick. Where's my Desmos graph? I want to show you Desmos. Let me clear the screen real quick. How do I clear this? Oh man, I can't clear it without. What I wanted to show you is y equals to -4. Y equals to -4 is this graph. It's a straight line. Y equal to -4 is a straight line. I wanted to show you some things because the points, all the points on the line will have y equals to -4. You see that? All of them have -4. Look at the slope. What's the steepness of the slope? Look at the steepness. This is flat. That's like we walking on the floor and it's not steep, it's leveled down flat. So we have a 0 slope when we have a flat surface. That's beautiful. Math capture that. We got a 0 slope, meaning it's just at this level. It's at -4. So I go back to here and I'm gonna put the equation of the line is -4. Even though we have all this other stuff going on and we like our equation to be y equal to x or mx or 2x plus something, it's just going to be -4 in this case. Another way I could have told it's -4 is like, look at this. X is -2, y is -4. X is 3, y is -4. Once they tell me there's a line passed through that, if a line passed through 2 points on -4, it has to be -4. Let me do it again. If there's a point on this line, I think they had the point was before I put the line, right? If you tell me here's a point in space, -2, comma, -4, that's one point. And here's another point, 3, comma, 4. No, -4, I'm sorry. -4. Look at that. If these 2 points are here, all the other points got to be there. If it's going to be a line, there's no way it's going to go through this without going through everything else. There's no way I'm going to make a line and it's going like crooked up. The only line that's going to happen is going this way. And where is the line? There we go. So that's what they wanted. They gave you those 2 points randomly, but I was telling you, if you just observe the points, you can get it the same way. If I just observe the points, I realize you can get the verticals and the horizontal by just observing the values. Boom. Right here. So 4 it is. Let's check our answer. And we're rolling. Here's another function now. See, this is a little bit different. Find the slope and the y-intercept. Find the slope and the y-intercept. Remember I told you? What's the formula again for linear equation? I'm going to keep driving it home. You must know it. It's y
Equals mx plus
X
b.
plus B.
Exactly. I want you to know that whenever I say a straight line, this is what you got to picture in your mind. This, however, these will be numbers. These will be numbers. So all they need to give you is give you the slope and give you the y-intercept, and you have your equation. X and y always are variables. M and the slope and the y-intercept will become numbers once you get them. Normally they'll give you, if I give you the slope and the y-intercept, you have the equation of the line. So look at this line right here. If you look at this point right here, so I'm going over the questions that I saw in the midterms, and these are the graphing questions. Did they ask so much graphing? You got to understand that. You got to know how to identify the slopes and stuff like that. Giving you this equation, you have to match it up. How do I make this look like that? So this look like y equal to 3x plus 0. Ah, so look at that. The slope is 3 and the y-intercept is 0. Find the graph, find the slope and the y-intercept, then use them to graph the line. So they probably want the first point you pick has to be on the line. The first line you pick has to be, the first point got to be right here. I'm sorry. Right here. That's not it. I don't want that in there. Let's get that undo. So the first point I'm gonna pick is 0, 0, because the graph goes to when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 0, look at it. When x is 0, according to the equation, y is 0. Look at the equation. The way it's set up, because I don't have a y-intercept, the y-intercept is 0. That means when x is 0, we're going through 0, 0. We're going through this point right here. The next one is we're going to start at 0, 0, and we're going to look at the slope. We're going to start at the y-intercept, and for the slope, I'm going to do something like this. If my slope equals to 3, it means I'm going to rise 3, and I'm going to run. How much I'm going to run?
1.
Right, because we need that unit. Normally it's a fraction. If it's a fraction, it tells you exactly what we're doing. And we're going from left to right. We're going up and down, left and right for the x. So let's look at the rise. From right here, from the point on the graph, I'm going to go from 0, 0, and I'm going to rise 3. 1, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to run 1. Boom. This is my next point. We'll go right here.
This protest is for me.
My next point will go right there.
I'm not trying to shut down your show. I'm trying to make a difference.
Please
They're
mute.
being left out because they
Gotta mute you guys. Don't forget to mute your sounds. All right. All right. But that was what I said. So if we start here, using the slope information, we could graph everything. If they give you a point on the graph, as in this case, they gave me 0, 0. My first point is at 0, 0, because the y-intercept is at 0. Look at this. Y equals to 3x is no b. B is 0. That means we go through 0, 0. When x is 0, y equals to 0. When x is 0, y is 0. So that point goes through the origin. If you remember going back to like the 6th grade, they call these what's the word they use for these type of graph? Direct proportional. They're proportional. All right, because it goes through the origin and it's a straight line through the origin. So again, I'm gonna use these 2 points. So let's go this and right here. That's the points. So I use 2 points. I use the rise and the run. And I'm gonna undo all that. I don't know if we needed to find that information, So even though they said that, maybe, well, that way I guess we had to pick the y-intercept. If they wanted you to find the y-intercept, we had to pick that point in there. But so if it wasn't like a computer generated test, right? I can have that line without the y-intercept the same way. The same exact way I told you just now, you can plot points. If you found two lines, so I got x is say -5. This is 0, and this is 5. Or even 1, -1. I could say if y is 3x, if y equals to 3x's, then this is -15. 3 times 0 is 0, and 3 times that is +15. That's the relationship it's going to have. These are on the graph. I can zoom out and show you that these points are on the graph, even though they didn't take it. Oh, I can't zoom out. Oh, terrible. All right, whatever. Maybe I would use 1 and -1, so we could see that 3 and -3 is in there. 3 and -3, along with 0, 0. All right. Any questions with this one?
So you would put in parentheses if it was like not saying to plot it, 0, 3 in parentheses?
Why 0, 3? I'm sorry. Why would
Wait,
we use 0, 3?
to plot it on the graph, it'd be x, wait, I think it's, wait, x is 3, 0, because we're plotting it on the graph.
No, 3, 0 is not a point on this. So the goal is so
I
coordinates.
think she's asking how to write it if we didn't have to graph it. Like, so how would it look if like it was like a select all that's like, they gave it, it would say what, like, which one would you pick? I think that's what she's asking. Is that right, Jen?
Yes, it is.
So if we had to pick this graph out of a lineup, I would use the trivial solutions. In this case, it's kind of weird. This is not the best because the trivial solution, remember I said when x equals 0, I want to find out what's happening there. I'm looking at the x and y's. And when y equals 0, in this case, they're equal to 0 at the same place. 0, 0. So we have that first point regardless. We're going to have 0, 0. Normally, this gives us two different points. The y-intercept is not always the x-intercept, but in this case, it does. And when you find yourself in a case that's in this one, you just pick another point. You just pick another point. As long as I have point, I'm going to pick another x value. So let x equals to 1. When x equals to 1, y is equal to 3 times 1. There I got another point. So I got 0, 0, but now I got 1, 3.
Okay, I understand what you're saying there. For our midterm, will there be actual like physical graphing like this on it or no?
I don't write it. I think so. It was on it the
You-
last time. Well,
So
not
there's
physical graph, but graph to pick.
no, okay, but like we wouldn't have to graph it like we're doing for the homework per
No, I
se.
didn't see that graph. No, I didn't see a type of question like that. I saw
Okay.
pictures of the equation and the graph. You match the graph that matches the equation.
The equation. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
But they could change it, right? So know how to do it. I'm just saying what I've seen. All right. Let's keep rolling. What time is it? I'm gonna get off soon.
What about further in when it doesn't give you the distance and you have to do the formula when you don't have a distance?
Okay. Here's real quick. If they don't, they have to give you, well,
No, they didn't. Not in the some.
they didn't give you the
about towards it.
formula? Say that again.
In the book, there was a lot of you had to find your own distance. So it was like,
Yeah, because they want you to practice that technique. You
well,
do it a couple of times so it sticks. If you
it
don't
has
practice
it
it,
has
you
not
practice it on
quite
the test.
stuck yet.
Okay. It's formula oriented. The hardest part is to really memorize the formula.
Right.
Which don't try to memorize it at first. Just keep copying it. As every problem you do, you look at it. You look at it until the test. Every problem you do, you look at it. It's not the test time. By the time the test come, you don't have to look at it anymore because you've done it so much it gets stuck in your brain. You start as you keep doing it, you're gonna start writing it without looking at it. But keep looking at it, and you must write it out. You must. If you don't write it out, you're not practicing it. All right. This information, write the equation. They gave you everything. Y equal to mx plus b. That's what they want. And I'm telling you, your goal is to find the m, because x and y never change, and the b. So the y-intercept happens when we cross the y-axis. We cross the y-axis when x equals to 0. Always. That should be burnt in your brain. When I say y-intercept, you should always think an x is 0. So what they just gave you here? This point is the y-intercept because x is 0. They don't have to say that. But if you give me a coordinate and I see x is 0, I know this is where it crosses the y-axis. So I can rewrite this. B is -7. X comes back. It's plus -7, but plus negative is going to be a minus. So I'm going to leave it -7. And this is the slope, 5/6. 5/6 is the slope. This is the equation of the line. It's usually not given this easily, but this is a test question. This I've seen on the test question, on the test. Because they expect, look, we didn't do any work. All I did was substitute the slope into where the m is. I know that that's where the slope goes. The y-intercept -7, I put it where the b is. And this is the equation. You don't have to do any work. A real work, they're going to have you solve for the slope and solve for the y-intercept. That's the real work of it. The hardest it can be. The hardest it can be, you got to solve for the slope and solve for the y-intercept. Here, they gave it to you. They gave it to you. So you got to really understand what it means to write the equation of the line. This is the definition of the line. -5/6x minus, I think, 7 it was. 7. They gave us all that information. All that information I got from right here. I didn't do a work. Oftentimes, we'll have to work. You have to do some work to get the slope, like I did. Rise over run, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Normally, you got to do that. Here, they gave it to you. So it's a gift. They expect if I give it to you, you should just plug it in. Question. Okay. So we're going to keep rolling. This is one that I think is the hardest one. Not even the hardest one. This is one I see students skip the most. And I'm like, yo, why skip it? I think it's one of the easiest one. You should try and make sure you understand it. Because they gave you the slope, they gave you the y-intercept. You shouldn't get it wrong. Again, it's a definition class. You just have to remember m is the slope and b is the y-intercept.
And this is the slope formula, right?
It's not the slope formula. This is the equation of the line. It just m is the slope. They call this the point slope formula. Points, because they call it a point slope because they have other ways to write this linear system. Or that's not a system, but the linear equation. Here's the standard way. The standard way, they say a times x plus b times y equals to c. This is the way you'll see this the most. This is a standard way because it's saying it's a linear equation. Both is to the power of 1. Both the variables to the power of 1. So it's a linear system. If I solve for so look at this equation, right? This equation, if I multiply it by 6, if I multiply this equation right here by 6, it becomes 6y equals to -5x minus 6 times this is 42. I can bring -5 to the other side. If I bring -5 to the other side, this equation right here becomes this thing. It becomes 5x plus 6y, and that's equal to -5. See that? This is the standard form of the same point slope. This same equation right here. Let me get a different color. I got so much color going on. So this same equation right here, it's called a point. They call it the slope intercept. The slope intercept form. The slope intercept. We got the slope and we got the intercept. That's why they call this the slope intercept. This is the best way to see a line. I can see the steepness. I can see how high the line is. This is called a standard form. We can't see nothing really with the standard form. It just look pretty in terms of how you write things out. So they write it out in the standard form. We know it's linear because it's to the power of 1. And this we can't tell nothing. This one, I can't tell nothing. I can't tell the slope. I can't tell the y-intercept unless I solve for y. That's why they taught you how to solve those literal equations. If I give it to you in the standard form, you could transform it to here. Just like I went from here to the standard just now. I went from this and I went to the standard. You should be able to go from the standard back to solving for y. Because if they'll give you a question like this. They give you the standard form and say, what is the slope? So you have to set it up like this to get the slope. If I give you the standard form, you have to make it the y-intercept form to get the slope, to get the m. So, all right. That's some information. They didn't ask that right now, but why it's important. And clear up this. Parallel lines. A parallel line's passing through this point. The parallel lines will have the same slope. This word parallel means something. It's different ones we care about. It's two things they care about in math because a bunch of stuff happening, right? A bunch of stuff. Like, what can we track? We only care about the things we could track. Kind of say laziness. It's not laziness. It's like, it's so many things. It's so difficult to deal with. When we do find something that we can track, we're going to use it as much as possible. So in this case, parallel line meaning the line never touch. The slope is the same. The slope of this graph, M1, will be equal to the slope of M2. Again, we like other things. They might look at the graph like this and intersecting. A bunch of stuff happen. We care about when it intersect perpendicular. When it intersect with a 90-degree angle, they have a formula for that. If this is line 1 and this is line 2, they say the slope of line 1 must be negative reciprocal. Negative flip of line 2. So it's two questions that can come from these slope questions. We want a parallel slope, another line with the same slope, same steepness, or we want a line that's cut at a right angle. That's the only two things we can do. So you should know them. All right. So now they ask a graph line that's parallel passing through this. So the line got to go through this point right here. The line got to go through that point. And it must be parallel to this. How we know something is parallel? What it means to have equal slope? Anyone, what it means to have equal slope?
It never meets.
Right. But they slope, the rise and the run should be the same. For it to be equal slope. So word flush is nice, I'm going to read it. I don't want to read this. I could read this, but it's like I got to approximate these numbers. Like, Y1, Y2. I don't want to approximate those numbers. I want to use a nice corner because it's easy to count. It rise 1, 2, 3, 4. It actually didn't rise. It went down. It went down 1, 2, 3, 4. You must know that. Positive graph goes this way. That's one thing you have to know. Positive graph goes this way from right to left. It means as X gets big, look at the Y value. When X goes from 2 to 5, Y values, look at the Y values. When X goes from 2, the Y values go from 2 also to 5. When X goes from 2 to 5, the Y value go from 2 to 5. It's positive. As X increase, Y increase. That's the actual technical term. When X increase, Y increase. It's an increase in graph. But look at this. When X gets big, I go from 0 to 1 to 3. Look at Y. Y went from 4 to 0. Y went from 4 to 0. Y is going down. Y is a negative graph. What just happened? Oh. Y is a negative graph here. When X gets big, look at it. If I pick a point right here, the point is 0, 4. And then I pick another point right here, it's 3, 0. When X increase, X goes from 0 to 3. When X increase, Y goes from 0 to 4. Y decreases. It's a negative slope. It's a negative slope. I'm giving you a bunch of information. It might seem like I'm just talking, but everything I say, and it's all technical. That's why I say it. All right, so now we're going to compare the slope. Parallel lines got equal slope. I want something with the same slope, and the easiest way to do it is to look at this. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's going to run 1, 2, 3. See that? So from here, to have parallel slope, I'm going to go down. Let me move it up a little. All right, so back to it. So real quick, again, to have the same slope, I'm gonna move the same way. I need 1, 2, 3. I need 4 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. That we went down 4. And then we're going to run, and that's how we get the negative 4. We're going to run 3. 1, 2, 3. So right here should be the next point. For me to be parallel with that line, I must pick this point right here. So let's pick the point. So I'm gonna pick this, and I must pick a point right here. That line is parallel to the next one. They'll never touch. They're running in the same direction. Again, I'm gonna check the slope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This is a parallel. This is a line that's going through the point and is parallel. Any question? I like the visual when it comes to slope and steepness. You have to remember rise over run when it comes to the steepness, but when it comes to the graph, when you have points, you have to actually know the formula, y2 minus y1. But when it comes to the graph, you can physically count. You can literally count what's going on. I can count the grid. That's what I did. I showed you the rise over the run. So it's many ways to get there. All right, clear this. What time is it? It's about my time. Let me do some more. But these are the questions that's on the midterm that I'm going over. The type of question I looked at. They showed me a sample. I don't remember seeing any inequalities. I don't. All right, let's keep going. Next.
Is there gonna be a lot of fraction, multiplying, those type of questions on the exam?
I don't know, but I don't think they should. Usually they don't. Fraction is arithmetic. We're not testing arithmetic. With algebra, enough stuff happening, they tend to want to know, do you know when to substitute? Do you know the plug-in? Do you know what the slopes and stuff is? It tend to be simple. I'm not lying, but I don't want to say that and have you worried, but usually, no, they don't test you on heavy algebra, fraction nor decimal. Your final exam may do that, but usually this we don't.
Okay.
But again, I'm not writing it, but that's my experience. We don't go hard because that's arithmetic. That's a whole different class. I'm not testing you on all that. You're allowed to use calculators. All right. Given the graph, find the equation of the line. Boom. Given the graph, we're going to do the opposite now. Given the graph, again, what do we need? What's the equation of the line? What is this thing? Up. Flat word hop. I don't need this. Can I get this out of my way? Can you see this on my screen? Is it there? Flat word hop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just, okay, maybe it's just part of the exam. I don't know, but it looks like it's above my screen and I can't get it out my way. No way to,
I think you have to hit the down arrow
there's a down arrow.
That blue
under
button.
the box
blue
on the
button.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, so this, find the equation again. Find the equation. What did I say the equation is for a linear graph? What's the equation? You gotta,
Y equals mx plus b.
everybody gotta yell that out when I say what's the equation. I want that burn in your brain. Y equal to mx plus b. Every time we talk about a straight line, this is how mathematicians see a straight line. Or this is how mathematics reference straight lines. Okay? Now they ask you, they want you to find. So for me to do this, you know what I'm missing? What am I missing? The slope. And I'm missing the y-intercept. That's it. That's all I need. Look, I can look at the graph. When do we get the y-intercept? When do I say we have the y-intercept? When x equals to what? When do we cross the y-axis?
When it's 0?
When x is 0. Good job. Good job. When x is 0 right here. Look, x is 0 right here on the y-axis. This line is called x equal to 0. The y-axis line is called x equal to 0. So all I gotta do is look at this line. Look at this. When x is 0, y is -5. This is the y-intercept. This is where we cross the y-axis. As a result, I don't have to do no work. I put the number in -5. Now we need to find the slope. They gave us nice points. I'm going to use the points they give. Usually, I like to get the flush points. Like, look at it. I look at it. These are the first 2 clean points, meaning I like when the points go through on the integers. I don't like when the points go through like random, like this one, because I have to evaluate what is it here. I want it to go through an interval. I like when it goes from a corner to a corner. It's a nice count. Watch me now. This is actually a negative graph. Because as we go from left to right, y goes down. You got to start spotting it. So this slope going to be negative. This slope will be negative. Oh, another thing, if you remember the formula, we could use the formula right now. I'm not going to use the formula, but we could use the formula. You can use the formula within these 2 points. I could say -5, 3. -5, 3. I just picked them on the graph. In fact, I could put any point on the graph, and I'm going to pick this other point. This other point is 0, -5. So I can do the slope formula from here. I could do y2. I could make this y2, x2, y2. I can make this x1, y1. And then I could use the slope formula to find m. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This will give us the number. This will give us the number. You could test it. You could plug them in and see. However, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm not doing it like that because it's a graph. If they just gave me points, I'm going to have to use the formula. But because they gave me a picture, I could use my eyeballs. Let's use my sight. Let's use sight. By sight, we're going to go like this. It looks like it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It goes down 8 units. It fall 8 minus 8. It went down 8 units. And then it runs from this point. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it runs 5 back to 0. Rise over run. This look like 8 over 5. Let's write the equation cleaner. It looks like y is equal to minus 8 over 5 x minus 5. That's the formula. See that? So the only thing, if they didn't give us a picture, we would have to do this. I couldn't get the numbers. I couldn't get the rise or the fall. I couldn't get the rise or the run. I would need to use a formula to get the rise and the run. The formula could, though, look, y2, according to the formula, y2 is -5. y1 is 3 minus 3. x2 is 0. 0 minus -5. Minus x1 is -5. Minus 5. Look at that. It looks like on top, -8. 0 plus 5 is a plus 5 at the bottom. We got the same slope. We rise and we run, see the visual, and here's a table information. You have to know how to do both. I don't know what they're going to give you. When they give you the picture, it's nice. We could just go straight through the picture. I love the geometry, but I see students still struggle with the geometry. Worst case, you have to memorize the formula. Well, not worst case, you have to memorize the formula because it will happen. And then you have to know how to populate this back. So now put that, once I got my M and my y-intercept, which I just get straight from the graph, I plug it in. Seem like a lot, doesn't it? I don't know. So let's do -8 divided by 5 x, and that's going to be plus 5 minus 5. Minus 5. This is this right here. And I'm undo that. Just clear this so we can see the answer. So again, equation of the line. They just want you to know y equal to mx plus b. Once you see equation of the line, this is what you must do. I know when students don't even know what to do, they put a number. Equation of the line and they put 2. I'm like, they don't know what's going on. It's not a terrible question, but if you don't prepare and don't know what to do, it's one of them type of classes. Similar, all this graph is the geometry. And with geometry, if you don't have the definition, you're dead in the water. Because you don't know what they're asking you to do. You know what I mean? I might say, find a product, but like language, and if you don't know product mean multiply, you can't, you just stuck. So you have to practice, and you practice in the language. And then also the procedure. There's a language and there's a procedure. That's what you're doing with math. So it's very time consuming, unfortunately. But you guys be all right. I think I'm gonna have to stop though, right? I gave you a lot of time. We only went over 7 questions. What is this? Match the quadrant. This you should do. I don't have to do this with you. All you know how to match the quadrant, right? Yes? No?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. This should be like, this is
Yes.
just, okay, good. This is just the location of their points. The point is a solution. Is this true or false? How would you know if this is true or false? What would you do? What would you do to know if this is true or false?
Plug in the numbers.
Thank you.
Plug in the numbers.
Okay, excellent. I'm not doing that either. Yes, that's what you would do. You plug it in, and if it's true, then it's yes, it's true. And if it's not, if this is not true, then it's false. Simple. That they want to know, is the point a part of the solution or is the point on the line? That's really what it is. This point, the coordinate XY represent a point, and it's the The equation represent the line, and they say, is that point on the line? The line given by y equal to 3 and the line are perpendicular. You agree? These two lines are perpendicular.
No. What is?
Let's test it. Let's test. So, actually, I'm gonna use Desmos because my graphing sucks. Well, it's just I gotta get my annotation, my pen back and stuff. But right here. So they said they want to know what happened when y equals to 3. When y equals to 3, and then when x equals to 3. Is that line perpendicular? Is this a perpendicular line?
Oh, yes.
Yes, it is. Because remember, one is vertical and one is horizontal. Vertical and horizontal. Yes. They just want you to think it through. So if that question comes back, you should have it. That's the goal. So, I don't know where it's at. Yeah, that one. I say it's true. And I don't know why I can't pick it. This is autosave. I don't know. Whatever. They don't let me check that answer. Match the equation with its description. A vertical line. Which one of these are vertical lines? Is it y equal to x? Remember y equal to x? Every value for x is a value for y. Every value for x is a value. It's slanted. Look at this. Y equals to -5. So if x is -4, y is -5. If x is 0, y is -5. If x is 20, y is -5. How you think that line look? What is the slope of this line? The slope of this line is 0, meaning it's flat, horizontal. It's a horizontal line. And of course, x to the third must be a vertical line. You have to memorize that too. You got to know which is which. Students tend to want to put the x with horizontal because they know x runs horizontal and y with vertical, but it's actually the opposite when you're reading the equations. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Next, this is also plug in. You're going to plug in 6 here. Oh, midpoint. You guys remember the midpoint? You got to know midpoint. Midpoint is on the exam. -6 plus 4 over 2, comma, -4 plus -2 over 2. So this looks like -6 over 2, which is -3. And the opposite side looks like -2 over 2, which is -1. So it looks like the point right here should be -1, comma, -3.
So for something like this, we just need to know our form, like I guess the formulas, like the like all of that stuff. Just memorize those. Yeah.
You have to know the formulas. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
That's the same thing I was saying with the distance formula. You have to memorize it. That's why I say keep practicing, because they can say find the distance between those points. It's no way around it. You have to know that formula. If you don't know the formula, you can't calculate it. All right. So some formula you just got to memorize. But as I say, the way we learn it is to keep writing it down. Don't go home now and be like, oh, I need to memorize it and like looking at it and putting it in your brain. No, just keep writing it down and keep looking at it and writing it down. When the time comes, you pull it in your memory. But if you're just staring at it and not doing any problem, then it won't stick. What is this? Clear. But anyway, what time is it? 8 something? I've been on for like an hour now.
It's 8:10.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Well, 8:09 technically.
I'm getting looks. parallel and perpendicular. They want a line that's perpendicular that's going through here. So look at this. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Look at the slope. So perpendicular, for something to be, remember I said two things they're gonna ask you. It's either gonna be parallel, meaning you're writing the same exact slope, or it's gonna be perpendicular. This slope is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's the same. It's 4/3 negative. So the perpendicular slope, if this line is that, the next slope would be +3/4. This slope I want would be +3/4. That means if I'm here, I want to rise 3. That is 1, 2, 3. And then I want to run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This point will be right here. I'm going to rise 3. And I'm going to run 4. That's how I'll go from this point to that point. Use different color. Where my colors at? Go from this point to this point. That's where it's going. That's going to be perpendicular because we're going to cut this straight down the middle. We're going to cut that straight down for 90 degrees. Let's see. Let's see if that's what they want. How do we graph it again? Oh, it's there. It's already there. And the next one should be, if it's there, the next one should be right at 1. That's it. That's it right there. And it's perpendicular. This angle is a 90-degree angle what we're looking at. This gave us a 90-degree angle right there. That's perpendicular. That's what they want you to do. By knowing that the slope is negative reciprocal, that's a big deal. We can get the slope and the line to line up like that. And now I check my answer. I think overall what we did covered a lot of the questions that's going to repeat themselves. Like if we're looking at it now, that's the beauty about this. Like once you do a few of them, you pretty much do the rest. It's just for you to test them out. So again, you must know about perpendicular slope and parallel slope. One is negative reciprocal, perpendicular, and parallel. They're the same. They're going in the same direction, same steepness. They'll never cross. And I reinforce this is a standard form of the graph. They say find the y-intercept form, because in that form they could plot it. Find the y-intercept form. I'm going to use the y-intercept. So I'll just solve this for y. I'll solve for y. When they say solve the y-intercept form, the slope-intercept form, I meant y equal to mx plus b. This is the standard form. They gave me ax plus by equal to c. They gave me this form, and I want to make it the standard form. All right, so not the standard. I want to make it a point. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract -4 on both sides. So if you give me this, if you give me 4x, this is something you need to know. This is what was on the last exam. It's called symbolic literal equation, solving literal equation. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4x on both sides. The new line will look like 3y equal to -4x plus 9. I like to put my numbers in front, my x's in front. Again, my first step was to take away 4x on both sides of my equation. 4x and 9 are not like terms, so I have to write them like that. 4x and 9 are not like terms. That's why I write it like that. My next step is the last. Look at the next step. If the next line I divide by 3. Therefore, y is equal to -4/3x plus 9/3. 9/3 is what? 9 over 3 is just 3. 9 over 3 is just 3. I would simplify that to make it just 3. 9 over 3 is just 3. Boom. That's the equation. So what does that mean? When x is 0, this is the y-intercept, b. When x is 0, this disappear, y equals to 3. When x is 0, y equals to 3. I'm going to use that. That's my first point. When x is 0, remember I talked about trivial solution. When x is 0, look at this. When x is 0, 3y equals to 9, y equals to 3. When x is 0, y equal to 3, there's a point right here. That's the first point. That's the first point I want to put. When x is 0, remember I tell you the y-intercept is one of the trivial solution. It's easy to find. When x is 0, y equals to 3. If we plug it in right here. Also, I have the rise and the run now. So from right here, I can do something. I can know that using the rise and the run, it falls 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes down 4 and goes across 3. It falls 4 and run 3. It falls 4 and run 3. Let me move that up a little so we could see it. And I'm going to clear this one. So the next point will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's going to run 3. So we go down 4, 4 negative, 4 down, and 3 across. 1, 2, 3. The next point would be right there. The next point would be right there at 3 comma negative 1. 3 comma negative. Based on the equation. Based on the equation. We could not have plot this if you didn't get the equation. So you see the work? You won't know what to do or where to put the next point if you didn't get the equation. So knowing how to get the equation is very important. So this point and then the next point is right there. Rise and we run 3. We rise, we fall 4 and run 3. We fall 4 and run 3. Run 3 that way. All right. I'm going to clear it up. Clear. So that's how we went from this point to that point, and all they gave you was the equation. So we had to take the equation for the point slope formula and get the 2 different points. So I gave you a technique that I was saying is quick to do, the trivial solution. Here's why the trivial solution wouldn't work so good. If you let y equal to 0, when y equal to 0, if we had to find 2 points, so we'll find x equal to 0, good. X equal to 0, plug it in the graph. We see that 3y equals to 9, therefore not y equals to 3. Okay, but when y equals to 0, it tells me 4x equals to 9. That's an ugly number. X equal to 9 over 4. What? Where do I put that on my graph? How do I find 9 over 4 right here? You get what I'm saying? So it's like 2 1/4. It's like 2 1/4. But really, can I put 2 1/4 on this line? We like to do nice flush points. So that's why I could see solving for the point slope and being able to rise and run from one point to the next will help you. So you must know all the technique. I know I say you can solve by getting 2 zeros, find that y equals 0 and the x equals 0 points. But in this case, it would have just been a difficult number to come by right there. I moved some things. I hope it's back. All right, let's check the answer. All right, so that's it. That's it. It's not so bad. It's not so terrible. Same thing they want you to do. They want you to write it out this time. We've done enough of them. So just keep doing that. Go through the homework. Make sure you can answer all the questions. Here, they want you to take this. They want you to find the y-intercept. They want you to take the slope. Again, y equal to mx plus b. If y equal to mx plus b, what is the slope here? Anyone? Can you identify the slope?
2/3.
2/3 is the slope. Correct. 2/3 is the slope. What's the y-intercept?
4.
Not just 4. It's x is 0 and y is 4. Usually we just show you 4, but because they keep telling you x is 0. All right. They'll say just 4, but the y-intercept is a point, and the point is 0, 4. They just
Okay.
see them say 4 all the time, but it's not just a 4. Correct. It's a point. Good job. And yeah, I think all of this is gonna repeat. There's nothing new gonna come. X-intercept, y-intercept. Play with it. You're gonna be all right. I'm done. If anything, I'll talk back to you guys on Wednesday. I think I have it going off at midnight, so I don't know if I can talk to you about the tests on Wednesday. You're just gonna have to wait until your midterm. But just again, if it was wrong or right, you know it. And if you knew it was right, don't stress it. I'm telling you. And whatever arrangement or modification, I will do it next week or when I get back. Either way, your grade won't go until the final, your final grade, so don't worry about it too much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson, for your time. Thank you. Have a
You're
good night.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
All right,
Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good
Night,
night.
Jen.
Night.
Eugenia.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad y'all came out. All right, guys.
Yes, we are too. Thank you. Can we do another one of these? It would be great.
All right, I'll figure out when is the best time.
Very
But-
helpful. Even though I'm
Yeah,
at work, I
good.
tried my best. And it actually, the timing works very well.
Excellent. All right, so 7 o'clock on a Sunday. All right, and I'll say
Yeah, we could do it.
Mr. Ferguson,
yes.
are we gonna have this graph on our midterm?
I think so. You might have graph like that.
I'm still finding it difficult to get it done. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'll
Get
keep,
one. On the homework?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this
So this is the second homework, right?
Yeah, this is part 2.
Okay, part 2, okay?
Oh no, this is the third. It's the
This
third.
is third,
Yeah. Because you got chapter 1, you do it 2 weeks, chapter 2, 2 weeks.
2
and
weeks, chapter. Okay, this is chapter 3, okay.
yeah.
Mr. Ferguson, I remember, I think I asked you about the graph paper again.
Jenny, do you understand?
Would it hurt to get a graph paper or, I mean, I don't know.
For you, I think so. Well, I don't know, do they let you have scrap? That's what you got to worry about. But I don't think it's hurt. I like graph paper. To me, I always tell students it's like cheating because if I know I could draw the picture, I could save a lot of my algebra because the geometry lines up.
They're
Yes.
not going to give no graph paper. They didn't even want to give you formulas, so we can nix that because they're not going to do it, and it's a shame because it would be much easier.
Right. It'd be a good guide. I'm not sure why you just have to sketch it out on a notepad. But just try to stick with the formula and you just got to practice a few of those. That's all. All right.
Jenny, do you understand it?
And try to find the people who understand it, I guess. Yeah.
Jenny,
What's up, Lizzie?
do you understand so that you can show me?
Yes, later though. I have to do LR. We have homework due tonight, okay?
Yes,
Okay,
we
that's
do.
fine. That's fine. Take your
Do
time.
11:59. You better be on that P's and Q's business. Hello.
All right, we gotta get on Mr.
Yes,
F over
Mr. Ferguson needs to go.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye. Have a good night,
Ferguson.
Mr.
Call me.
Ferguson.
That's why we have phone.
All right, guys.
I'll
Yeah,
call you,
beautiful.
Jenny.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Night.
Bye.
And when it's upload, I'll post it.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right.